Breathe. Feel the air. Feel that wind on your face. Feel the ground beneath your feet. Feel its power pumping through your veins, traveling to every nerve in your body like a shock. You're no longer you now. You're part of something greater. You're part of it.
Welcome everyone to the official tutorial for my newest mod, Speedforce. Finally it's here. Listen, here's the deal. I got an absolute monster of a cold and a deadline to get this video out by a certain time, and I actually have to be out of this room in like an hour. So we're gonna speed run through this tutorial, alright? We're gonna speed run. No milking for ad revenue here. Let's get right into it. First things first, we're gonna need a flask. Now, the way we make a flask is we get a bunch of glass and we make it in the shape of a flask. Alright? We good so far? Now, there are certain in-game blocks that I have recontextualized to being made of dark matter. One of which is the sculk block. If you right-click a sculk block, you will fill up the flask with dark matter. Now, you will have to synthesize this into pure dark matter. So, what you need to synthesize pure dark matter is another star. Fadda, why do you always have to have nether stars in your recipes? Well, because frankly, you gotta earn your speed. I don't want speedsters just running around all willy-nilly on my server. I saw what happened when I gave you all Ghost Danny Phantom powers. You guys suck. I love you, but you suck when I give you power. So, you're gonna have to earn it. Boom, see, that wasn't so hard. It's just a little wither. Come on. Once you've synthesized your pure dark matter, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to compress it. So you're going to take your pure dark matter bottle, you're going to put 3 iron ingots, 2 glass, 3 iron ingots on the bottom, and you're going to create a super compressed dark matter vial. The super compressed dark matter vial is just a bullet. It's ammo. We still need something in which to load it. In comes the rocket-powered capsule. Now the recipe for this is quite simple. You just 1 iron ingot, any piece of glass, and a fire charge. And then we take this, and then we take that, and there we have it. We have a dark matter capsule. Now what are we going to do with this dark matter capsule? Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to load it into this here spatio-temporal anomaly reactor, or STAR for short. And we're going to put it right here, and we're going to launch the heck out of this baby. Okay, fine. We need to make a lab code first. Now take the lab coat, apply it so that the reactor thinks you're smart. Go here, press this, and the capsule will launch itself into the air, applying dark matter to the atmosphere. Ooh. As you can see, we found ourselves in the midst of a dark matter store, where things are all weird. There are tachyons floating all around us. There's water floating now. The gravity's acting all weird. Yeah, so we're just gonna walk around until the game decides it's time for us to meet our destiny. There we are. Now here's the deal, I packed so many abilities into this mod, so I genuinely might forget to show off a few, but if I do, I'll let you know. I'll make another video, who knows. Ability number 1, sprint to sprint. Ability number 2, if you jump while sprinting, you leap. Whee! Ability number 3, wall running. Wait, where am I? Boom. Now, in order to pull this off successfully, you can't just be sprinting, you have to also be pressing the wall run button. Now, what I've done is I've set the default keybind for wall run to the default keybind for sprinting that most people have. So if yours is different, you might just want to set it to that. just so you have less buttons to press and less stuff to think about. Now, you may have noticed this fun little move. So all you need to pull that off is, while you're wall running, just press space and look in whatever direction you want to leap. It also works with vertical wall running. You just spam that essentially. Ability number 3, you can now charge your speed. Begin to sprint and then sneak immediately to stop yourself and build momentum. So, looks like that. Alright? Begin to sprint and then sneak immediately. Oh god, I'm unrendering the world. Breaking the sound barrier is more than just unlocking more speed, right? When you run past the speed of sound, you create a vacuum. That vacuum can be used to, for example, put out fires. Or, as another example, to create high-speed, vacuum-heavy tornadoes. Now, these tornadoes can be used offensively. If there are entities nearby, it'll float all entities in the air and suffocate them. And it could be used for good, i.e. putting out large amounts of fire in the area. And of course, there is no more famous use of running past the speed of sound than the supersonic punch. So, what you can do is you can temporarily increase your speed. So let's say I'm running at supersonic speed. Right? All I need to do from there is tap the increase speed button once, and I'll jump forward, launch myself forward, go into a supersonic punch, and deliver a devastating blow, yeeting the nearest enemy. Alright, now we get into some fun stuff. Speed punches! Now, every time you punch, it's a speed punch. It's registered as a speed punch. So, if you hit once, Steve will hit multiple times, like this. But if you're able to tap enough times fast enough, your punches break the sound barrier. Now what's really cool about this is you don't just press a button to break the sound barrier, it depends on your own click speed. So Steve's punch speed is equivalent to your click speed. Here, let me show you again. Damn it, come back, hey. Boom. Now you are correct. We're a speedster, we should be able to take out a room full of guys in a split second. I hear you. That's why I created the Speed Blitz. In a split second, you hit each entity in the area, causing insane amounts of damage to each one, and impressing your friends in the process. Can you tell there wasn't a script for this? So this is where things start to get really interesting, because you actually get benefits from reducing your speed. So let's say you want a slightly less lethal option for the Speed Blitz. You lower your speed by 1 level, and then you engage the Speed Blitz, and instead of killing or knocking out the enemies, you rob them of all their weaponry. Now, you may have noticed that my hunger has taken a bit of a hit. Well, I've actually integrated exhaustion pretty heavily into the mod. So it's not just you lose hunger whenever you sprint, which you do, obviously, right? But you also lose hunger whenever you exert yourself in any way that uses super speed. So you break the sound barrier enough times, your hunger will go down. You vibrate, your hunger will go down. We'll get into this later. This is a lot of you asked me about that. We'll get into that in a second. Trust me, this will be your favorite thing to do in the mod. Anyway, to fix the hunger problem, I took a page out of the CW's book and created these. You put 6 cakes together, and that combined calorie count will go into 1 hypercalorie power bar. Do not eat these without a super fast metabolism. If you do, you'll still get all your hunger bars filled, but also you'll just be puking all over the place. Look at this, just violent puking 2. You're gonna get violent puking 2. You don't want that, man. And then in the end, you lose all your hunger bars anyway, because you've just puked everything that you could have possibly had inside. You puke tomorrow's dinner. You just can't handle that many calories all at once. You're not a speedster. But if you are a speedster, you could just speed eat it, and that will solve all your hunger problems for as many cakes as you can make, essentially. All right, next up. A lot of you asked me about flash time. Okay, look, here's how this works. You press the Speedforce Blitz button without shift, without sneaking, and it'll slow down all enemies around you. So, I could break the sound barrier, I could do whatever I want. It also works on projectiles, but here's the issue. It saps them of all velocity. So essentially, when I disengage flash time, this arrow just falls to the ground instead of like continuing on its path. I tried a number of ways to fix this. I haven't figured it out yet. I think I'm going to go a whole different method. Some of you know this, but I'm also moving away from mCreator soon. I'm going to start working directly with Java, so maybe a new method makes itself known once I start doing that. But so far, this is how it works. I'm not overly happy with it, but it's how it works for now, and it gets the job semi-done. Oh God, why? Now we get into this. This, my friends, is the vibrate ability. What does vibrate do? Number one, you can phase. Now, you have to already be sprinting and then press R and you'll pass through any solid object. Go away. Go away. Look up to go up, look down to go down. That's essentially how phasing works. Now, when I was tackling this mod, I felt if I was going to do phasing, I should take it to like a whole different level. So, not only can you phase yourself, you can also phase other enemies. And this doesn't just work for phasing them through the ground. Check this out. See this golem? I can protect this golem from damage. I could even do the same for the zombie. Now, while you're phasing another entity, both you and the entity are immune to damage. But you can turn this into an offensive move. If you just left click while you do this, you tear them apart, essentially. I think it's called a vibe tear or something like that. I don't remember what I called it. But yeah, essentially you just like tear them apart at the molecular level. Another thing, if you're vibrating, you're always moving. You're hypermobile, which means you can catch arrows. Press and hold the vibrate button to catch arrows. Okay. Now, leading up to the mod, a lot of you were asking if there were going to be ways to upgrade your speed. Yes and no. So here's how I've handled speed progression in the mod. I knew from the beginning I didn't want to do like 1,000,000 levels. I didn't want you to like level up to 1,000,000. First of all, the game can't handle it. And second, that's just too many lightning bolts on your screen. I knew from the beginning I wanted it to just be these 3 levels. And instead of upgrading the amount of speed levels you can gain, I decided I wanted you to upgrade the amount of speed that those levels mean. So let's say right now I'm traveling at like a solid 300 blocks per second. I can get faster than that, even though that's my max speed, and I don't need to like drug myself out to do it. Say no to steroids, kids. So basically what I did is I created a friction system. So while you're running, you won't catch on fire. I think that's a bit silly. I mean, like, we know the Speedforce is supposed to protect you, so I don't want you to catch on fire. But you're still limited in your speed because you're still subject to friction. You're still subject to air resistance. So you're still limited in your speed, right? So what I've done here is I've created an enchantment called friction proof. So this is basically what the Flash suit does, is that it's a friction-proof suit, right? But what you can do with this enchantment is you can apply that friction-proofness to literally any other armor piece you want. And the more armor pieces you have with friction-proof, the faster you can run. It feels marginal now, but trust me, it like makes a difference. Now, running at your max speed does not set you on fire. I did not include that, I won't include that. But the same cannot be said for your clothes. So, if you travel past Mach 1 wearing anything that doesn't have the friction-proof enchantment, it'll start to wither. Now, clearly the boots will always go first just because what are you running on, right? But if you're running on water, then the boots won't go first. If you're running on the ground, the boots will go first. If you're running on water, the boots will deteriorate at the same rate as everything else. But if I do apply friction proof, not only do they not get damaged, but I also get to run much faster. So that's just a nice way to like make any other armor you may have, whether it be vanilla or modded, immune to the more destructive elements of your insane speed-based power. Now for general fire suppression and just enemy manipulation, might I recommend Wind Arms? Hold the vibrate button and repeatedly tap the increase speed button to rotate your arms, and create a wind funnel. You can blow back enemies, you can damage them if you get a direct hit. You can also manipulate their movements, so I can make them float if I get them in one spot. Not only that, but if you're in the air and you do it, then you can soften your falls. You could straight up just float. You could go up. Now the beautiful thing about this is it doesn't take you up or down based on like where you're looking. It's not like the flight mechanics for my Iron Man mod or anything like that. It actually works exactly the way it would in real life, meaning you push yourself up, right? All this does is increase your velocity by 1. So if you're tapping fast enough, you'll decrease your fall speed. If you're tapping even faster, you'll gain altitude. So in a really cool way, the speed of the player depends on you, which I think is really nice. It's very immersive. So let's say I go here, right? And I want to soften this fall. I want to start wind arming when I'm at the apex of my jump, because then I have much less downward velocity to have to overcome. I don't have to be as fast. But let's say I jump here and I just let myself fall. Now I really gotta work to slow down the fall. That's awesome. So what that is it's like an extra oomph to a landing if you fall from a particularly high altitude. Another wonderful use of the vibrate ability. Ouch, I have an arrow in my head. Wait a minute. No, I don't. Not anymore. Now I have an arrow in my hand. Thank you. Check this out. Ow. Not anymore. Ow. Not anymore. These are consistently going in my head. I should make it so I could throw these back. I'm going to do that. I'm going to make it so I could throw these back. Next update. Another really cool thing about the vibrate ability. If you tap it really fast 4 times and hold on the 4th, you move so fast you become invisible to the naked eye. Now your after images still show because it just gives you more incentive to be careful and makes it a bit more challenging from a gameplay perspective. And all you gotta do to turn back is just let go of the vibrate button. Boom. I did consume like a decent amount of high calorie power bars before doing this, but if you're on just regular vanilla Minecraft food and you do this, your hunger is gonna go down instantly. Because this, obviously, you're moving at crazy speeds for this to happen, so. Now, if you're doing this with any regular clothing on, it'll phase right through you. Because at a certain point you reach like phase speed right before you reach invisibility speed. And so the armor will phase right through you because even with the friction-proof enchantment, it just can't move as fast as you. Okay, now we check out toys. Let's start with the suits. Now, how does one craft a suit? In order to craft a suit, you're going to need a fabricator. Look at that. What a beauty. In the fabricator, you're going to need to place a blueprint and you're going to need to place some supplies. Now, the good news is all the supplies are the same. The basic building block of any of these flash suits is this thermoweave fiber, which is friction-proof, heat-resistant, and hyper-flexible. That's going to be important later. You're going to integrate this thermoweave into full leather armor, craft the thermoweave armor, and it needs to be conditioned in the fabricator. The way you get blueprints, you beat enemies, at some point one of them will drop a blueprint. Let's make us a flash suit. Now, these blueprints are fairly rare, but don't worry because you actually get to keep them once this process is complete. Check this out. So it takes the thermoweave armor and it condenses it into this little clump and starts working on it and conditioning it and like shaping it into the suit we know and love. Look at that. Look at that. That's the emblem right there. And then it just takes it and we're good. We have our flash suit. Look at that, huh? Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that lovely? Now, what is the difference between all these suits? I'll tell you, there's slight differences. Okay, so how are these suits any different? I'll tell you right now. First things first, the trails are unique to each suit, which is fun. That's number one. Number two, these suits are 100% friction proof, which means you are at your fastest while you're wearing them. But it's like the science fiction nonsense type of friction proof, where it's like, okay, you're more resistant to air resistance, but you can still like stop and brake and not like move indefinitely. Number 3, these suits move as fast as you do, which means if you go invisible, so will the suit, because it's moving at your exact speed. Nice. And last but not least, number 4, if you craft yourself a flash ring, these suits will compress and be stored in the ring. Now, here's how to use it. Just hold the ring, and you have to be wearing a full set of any of these suits, and then you just tap right click. You're good. You just compress the suit, store it in the ring, but you do it at super speed, so we as regular people can't see him do it, because it saves time on animation. Now, when it comes to deploying the suit, there are 2 ways to do it. Number 1 is like the cool cinematic way, if you want to be like all aesthetic about it. Obviously, it's more steps and it takes more time. Hold right click to prime it, and then let go, and then run through it, and he'll put it on. And then there's the quick way, where you just have to be sprinting and then tap the ring. And he just puts it on automatically. Now, this works whether or not you're a speedster, but obviously you can't put it on if you don't have super speed. So let's say I don't have super speed right now, and I'm priming the ring, and I want to like shoot it. I can still shoot it. It'll still shoot out the capsule, but it'll decompress into the armor, and then there's just nothing there. I guess another nifty little feature is that I made it do damage. Like, you could just use it to damage an opponent, because it's decompressing and shooting out at such a high speed. It'll still like eject the suit and everything. It just also does damage. And zombie's like, ow, ow, he's really hurting me. Oh no. Yeah. I have the suit here. Another added benefit of the ring is it repairs your suits for you. I knew I wanted to make them like fairly low durability, so I was like, okay, I'll just do this. It also saves me like the trouble of having to store damage values for each suit. Yeah, so, you know, obviously everybody knows who these characters are. Some of you may be wondering what this suit is. Well, Death Grip was a member of my Discord, like a very early member of my Discord when it first started. And he really loved Minecraft, he really loved mods and the stuff that was being worked on by some of my community members. And he recently passed away, unfortunately, so... and I was like in contact with him up until it happened a little bit, so it only felt right to like do something. So yeah, I dedicated one of these suits to him, and it has like this little unique feature where if you have his helmet, you can use it as a shield to protect yourself, to protect others. So you can use it. It's not always 100% accurate because it's got a fairly small surface area, so there's a chance the arrows will still hit you, but 9 times, or not 9 times out of 10, but like 6 times out of 10, the arrows will hit the helmet. Oh, no. Okay. So, yeah, you know, rest in peace, Death Grip. It was an absolute pleasure to know you for the time that I did. Really glad to have met you, and I'm sure you're in a better place now. Okay, on to Speedster contingencies. It is no secret that as soon as my server launches, a lot of you, as soon as you get your speed, are going to be incredibly annoying to the other players on the server. So, it's only fair that we give them a bit of an edge as well. Enter the Speedforce Harvester and the Speedforce Dampener. The Harvester and the Dampener are very different concepts. I actually don't know why they're in the same chest. We'll start with the Dampener. So, yes, if you put a Speedforce Dampener literally anywhere, right-click it, right, you'll see this menu. So you have an external power source and you have an internal power source. You have the option of using both or either, but if you have none, nothing will happen. And you have an augmentation. We'll get to that in a second. Now, once you click a Speedforce Dampener, you become its owner. I wanted to do it so that once you place it, you become its owner. I don't remember why I didn't do it that way, but whatever. So that basically just means that no one else can mess with your settings. This is your dampener, no one else can mess with it. Let's start with internal power. Anything with pure dark matter in it will act as a power source. Not only will it act as a power source for any Speedforce item, but it'll act as a power source for anything that requires power in any of my mods ever. Additionally, you can use an arc reactor from my Iron Man mod if you want, and it'll still power this dampener. Okay, so I can use it here. And anytime I try to use my speed, it'll disable it. You can also use an external power source. It can be powered with redstone. Now, augmentations are where this concept takes a bit of a unique turn. So if I were to go into the augmentation slot and put, say, a fermented spider eye, you see the augmentation here changes to poison, which means anytime I try to use my speed, it'll poison me. Oh, by the way, one of the benefits of vibrate is you can get rid of poison. I forgot to mention that. Get out of here. Now, if I were to put a wither skull, obviously it would give me wither. Now, if I were to take a lightning rod, it would electrocute me every time I try to use my speed. But Fadda, how do you electrocute a speedster? Like this. There. But let's say, for example, you don't have the time or resources to line your giant bat cave with just an unreasonable amount of these things. Well, I got a solution for you, my friend. Whatever you think I'm about to do, you're probably right. Yes, you put it atop a beacon. You don't even have to have it active. Well, you have to have it activated, but you don't have to have anything like in here. You just go, and then you activate this bad boy. You just place a power source in there, and your range is doubled. You got a range of like 20 blocks. So yeah, look, I can't use my speed. All right, now the Speedforce Harvester. Pretty straightforward. You plop it on your chest, gets rid of all your Speed Force-ness. Yeah. But Fadda, why would I ever want to give up my speed so voluntarily? Well, I'll tell you exactly why, dear player. What if you're just speeding around on my server all happy, right? And then another player just comes up and he threatens your father with mortal death after he was literally just released from prison for a crime he did not commit, unless you give him your speed. What would you do then? Huh? Go ahead. You could tell me. You'd use this device then, wouldn't you? Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, yeah, this is in case you want to transfer your speed. So what you do is, you go into the centrifuge, you place it, and then you craft yourself an injector, all right? And this is, I suppose fairly straightforward. It's like a super advanced injector. We have one here, so we don't really have to like collect stalactites. You just place the harvester right here, fully charged with Speed Force energy, and the injector right there, and you just turn this bad boy on. It'll centrifuge the hell out of that Speed Force solution somehow. I don't understand the science, but it's here, so yeah. And then you take this little injector here, and you can use it to inject yourself with speed. Nothing's happening. Oh, never mind. Yes, no, that was intentional. That was just a little bit of like dramatic pausing. Here's the thing about this though. This is a super impure connection to the Speed Force. So this isn't Velocity 9 or Velocity X or whatever they got to in the show. I didn't want to do that directly, but I did like the idea of a connection to the Speed Force that was unfairly gained, and like an impure connection, something the Speed Force wouldn't really appreciate. So I'm super down for that. I really like that idea. Oh my god. Ugh. So as you can see, you're noticeably slower, you're less durable, your healing factor is significantly slowed down. You can still like wind arms and stuff. Right. Awesome. And you can do that, but you can't phase. So I can't like, I'm trying, but I can't. You can like wall run, you can do stuff, but there's just so much that you can't do because you have an impure connection. You definitely can't, you can't go invisible no matter how hard you try. But yeah, you're definitely limited in what you can do. Also, the Speed Force kind of like recognizes that you were never meant to be a speedster and will therefore Miguel O'Hara your ass and just send a sentry after you to completely demolish your entire existence. Oh, and the more speed level... Oh god, no, god, please. Okay. Yeah, and you don't retain your impure speed after you die. So yeah, essentially what happened there is the Speedforce Sentry steals your speed the closer it is to you. So literally the closer it is to you, the slower you get. And once it's got your health low enough, it will literally vibrate you until you're just at the right frequency to be sent to the Speed Force. And then it sends you to the Speed Force, where the Speed Force will recognize that you don't belong there and just bombard you with lightning. It's gruesome, I think. So guys, this is my pet dog. I love this dog more than anything else on this earth. I just thought I'd let you know how much I love the heck out of this dog. And that if anything were to ever happen to this dog, I would be absolutely, irrecoverably crushed. Oh God. So fellas, what you just witnessed right there was what I like to call a reverse flash trolling. So that's right. Anytime you're wearing a flash suit and you have the regular Speed Force, not like artificial connection or negative Speed Force, the game will consider you one of the Allen or Allen adjacent family. Your Barry Allens, your Wally West, your Bart Allens. And the reverse flash will literally travel through time and space to mess with you and just piss off. Just make your life a living hell. If you have a dog, he'll kill it. If you're literally just hanging around in a village. Oh God. It happened. It happened. Stop. You go over there. Okay. Oh my. But you can trap him, right? Like if you want a boss fight, I'll give you a boss fight. You know, you can definitely trap him. As soon as you see him make his move, this tests your reflexes as a player as well as a speedster. So as soon as he makes his move, even if you don't see him, even if you just hear him whiz by, then just engage flash time as soon as you possibly can. You'll trap him in your flash time field. He won't slow down at all the way other entities might, but it slows other speedsters down just enough that he can't just whiz in and out without you seeing him. Oh, well, he caught me. Oh God, why? So the thing about reverse flash is he will chase you to the ends of the earth. See, you can do that for a bit, but he can phase. Oh. Oh. Reverse flash drops flash rings, which is good because this is how you get the reverse flash shoot, because it's uncraftable, because it's from the future. Now, he also drops an impulse suit ring, which is good because the impulse suit is harder to craft, but it also means that he probably killed your nephew in the future. So, you know, pros and cons. So once you have a reverse flash suit, what you're going to do is you're going to take a Kid Flash blueprint and you're going to put it there. And then instead of, there we go. Nice. And then instead of the suit templates that we use, like these ones, you're going to use the reverse flash suit as a template. And then you're going to model it after Kid Flash. And that is how you get Impulse. There you go. Now you're able to do this with the Impulse suit and with this default flash suit. And if you use a flash blueprint with the reverse flash suit as a template, you get this teched out future style flash suit from the intro for this tutorial. Check this out. When we put the cowl on, that's a whole different experience. We get a heads up display, fully interactable. Look at this. We get how fast we're going in blocks per second, which I think is cool. We get our current speed level, so we can increase and decrease our speed level as we please. We get which direction we're facing. We get what our coordinates are. See here. And then we just get a bunch more information as we start to engage in more Speed Force shenanigans. I'm planning to make this compatible with the Iron Man mod. Maybe give us like a nice onboard AI called Nora. Something fun like that. Obviously for reverse flash it would be Gideon, because I just feel like, god damn, every time this is going to be really fun for non-speedsters on my server. This was modeled after the season 4 future flash suit. The heads up display appeared for like literally a few episodes in one season. there you have it. This is what we got now. Okay, now into some Speed Force stuff for the Speed Force mod. We're going to start with the kinetic dark matter generator. And then you make this stuff out of that stuff. You got JEI. Once you have a kinetic dark matter generator, you put it on your body slot, and then it gets you this dark matter conversion thing. If you have a teched out flash helmet, it doesn't show you that. Once you start engaging it, it'll show you the numbers you need to know. So what this does is it uses the kinetic energy from how fast you run, and it converts that into dark matter, which then gets released into the atmosphere and opens a Speed Force portal, but a more concentrated one, similar to the one that that gave us our powers, but much more concentrated, just enough so that we can travel into the Speed Force. What you need to do is you need to run past the speed of sound, and then you need to maintain your speed. And then the more dark matter that the generator generates, the faster you'll be able to go for that time. So you're essentially going infinitely faster, so you reach the speed of light, and then yada yada yada, whatever. Anyway, the issue with doing this is that you need flat land, and most worlds, most maps are not flat land. So if you can't find flat land for the amount of time it takes, what I recommend you do is you do like we did in the intro. You break the sound barrier by launching charged, and you just run on water the entire time. That was extremely loud. So I went into the Speed Force and it sent me to the Nether. Why? You also need to have in your inventory is a time-space GPS. Alright? And you need to press O to open the menu. You need to set your dimension, so let's say Minecraft Overworld, and then you need to also set your coordinates. So let's say like, I don't know, 165, 100, and then you need to lock your coordinates. You need to make sure that these coordinates are locked, and then you're good. Smart suits have this built in, so you don't need a time-space GPS. Just press O with any smart suit equipped. It'll show you your save location, and you can change it at any time. So any suit with a heads-up display can do this. But yeah, and you can have a time-space GPS and a heads-up display. It doesn't prioritize one over the other. Just have something. Like as long as you have your coordinates locked and a suit that's able, and something that's able to process. Yeah, let's get out of here, shall we? And there's our little portal there, which you can go through if you wanted. And yeah, we get like Speed Force sickness right after, just to slow us down, just so that you're not heavily incentivized to use this as like a transportation thing. You know, you can. But it should be very difficult to do. It should be like a big deal when you do it. You know, it should be so that you can get places that you wouldn't usually be able to be. You can travel anywhere in the world, anywhere in any universe. So it should be difficult to do. Yeah, so that's the Speed Force. Now, shall we get into the negative Speed Force? What do you think? So, I wasn't 1,000% sure how Eobard did it in the comics, and Googling it did not help. Every source I looked for was like, yeah, he's Speed Force, but he channeled so much negative energy. How the hell does one translate negative energy into Minecraft? And I'm not going to have you mine or craft negative energy, because that's a very M creator thing to do, and I'm trying to fall out of that stereotype. So here's what I decided to do. I decided if I'm going to be a negative Speedforce user, I will have had to have had a pure Speedforce connection first, and then just start doing some evil shit. Go ham on. This guy's faster than I am. And once you've done enough damage, you'll start to notice that your speed meters are starting to get a little corrupted. There's something going on there. Now you see how the speed levels are almost full? As long as they're not completely taken over, there's always a chance that you can redeem yourself. It'll take a while, just stop doing evil shit. Now, when we use our speed, it's a whole new ball game. So, as you can see, we're constantly generating lightning. This is like supposed to signify that there's consistent negative energy radiating off of us, right? We are slightly faster than Speedforce users, not by much, but slightly. Everything is different now. Obviously, you're immune to wither because your soul has already withered away. Not literally, but like figuratively, symbolically. I was an arts major in college, so everything that you could do with the Speedforce, you can do with the negative Speedforce, just slightly more destructive in like an unsettling way. So let's say you have just a bunch of pillagers, right? You can freeze them in flash time. You have your own flash time field, right? And you can also speed blitz them. But it's less of a speed blitz, really, and more of just a speed demolish. Like, look at this. Oh my god. Yeah, that's not okay. With Speedforce users, if you decrease your speed by 1 level, you'll just confiscate an enemy's weapon. But if you do this as a negative Speedforce user, you'll just snap their necks. Look at that. That's just not okay. Remember when I told you you can phase entities to protect them from harm, but you can also turn it into an offensive move? Well, with this one, instead of tearing them molecularly, you chest burst them. You just reach into their heart and just grab it. Yeah, no, he's gone. So if you put on a speedster cowl that has the HUD enabled, like this one, the HUD will turn red no matter which one you're wearing. So you see it says on the bottom right here, Speedforce signature corrupted, and still shows you your speed, it shows you everything else, it just turns red. You still have a dark matter buildup from the kinetic dark matter generator. Let's go into the negative Speedforce, shall we? Let's just make sure we have a dimension saved here. Okay, good. Yes. There you have it, the negative Speedforce. Now, if a regular Speedforce user goes into the negative Speedforce, it will overwhelm and corrupt them and turn them into a negative Speedforce user. That's one of the other ways of being a negative Speedforce user, is going into negative Speedforce somehow. Now, how can you access the negative Speedforce as a regular Speedforce user? Essentially, you just hop in a portal that someone else creates by accident, I guess, or on purpose if you're into that sort of thing. I don't know. So yes, that's the negative Speedforce. Now, if I remember correctly, that should be everything. I'm not 1000% sure. I might make a part 2 to this. Fellas, feel free to ask questions in the Discord or in the YouTube comments or whatever. But honest to God, this was so much effort. I mean, I loved every second of it, but by golly, this was a lot of effort.
please do like and subscribe. Please. I need it. Anyway, yeah, more stuff's coming. My server is reopening this month. I'll announce whenever it does. I'm really sick, so I'm gonna hop off. But thank you, everyone, for such a lovely time. Have a good one. See ya. I landed in water. This would have been cool had I not landed in the water.